Michigan stood its ground and hung in there like a defending national championship team should. But in the end, Oregon, way too many weapons, too much precision, too much speed, too much space for that Ducks offense to maneuver, and Oregon wins it at the Big House. 38-17. Welcome into the Voice of College Football. Breaking down the game we all love each and every day with you. Best discussion, debate, and analysis. So be part of the process. Leave those comments and questions down below. Like and subscribe. On the historical note, this is just the third time in college football history that a defending national champion is unranked and facing a number one team. Happened just a few years ago, 2020. That LSU team that won the national championship and lost just about everyone, taking on number one Alabama, beat down 55-17 in that game. The other matchup involved Michigan and Minnesota in 1961. Also, on a historical note, Dillon Gabriel came into this game just 3 touchdowns shy of the all-time record held by Case Keenum in touchdowns, responsible for 178 to 175. Needs 3 more touchdowns. He got 2 in this game, 1 rushing, 1 passing. On the Michigan side, Davis Warren, of course, back in the starting quarterback role, coming off the win against Michigan State. So we had Warren to Orji to Tuttle, back to Warren. Of course, Tuttle has retired, and now it's back to Davis Warren. My thought process through this entire time is well documented that I would have stuck with Davis Warren, that I felt as though he was the best passing option, that he was the best passing quarterback, and also is pretty elusive and mobile, and that the Michigan coaching staff could have coached those 2 or 3 mistakes out of him per week, and they would be in a much better position right now. But you go with what you've got, and that's what they've got. Warren, although we would see much of Alex Orji in the red zone as well. Right out of the gate, 2 of Oregon's best defensive players, Derek Harmon, formerly of Michigan State, and Jabbar Muhammad, of course, of Washington, played in the national championship game against Michigan, made excellent tackles for loss and pass breakups to thwart Michigan right out of the gate. Tez Johnson made just 1 reception, knocked out of bounds, landed on his shoulder, separated shoulder, had to leave the game. And we saw shots of him on the sideline throughout, all taped up, bandaged up, and again, it was reported as a separated shoulder. In steps Justice Lowe, 6 catches, 45 yards. He picked up most of the slack, and of course, Will Johnson out of this game. So one of the best wide receivers in the country missing for Oregon after 1 catch, and of course, Will Johnson, arguably the best in the business, out for Michigan. Evan Stewart was remarkable in this game when they counted and when they didn't count. And on the first touchdown, it counted. And, pitch and catch, Amir Hall had remarkable coverage. He was right on him, and Dillon Gabriel fit it right in there. Maybe some of us, including myself at times, have undersold Dillon Gabriel. Yes. Does he have the strongest arm? Is he John Elway? No. But he can sling it, he can throw it, and he has a wealth of experience, knows exactly what he's doing, and can probably throw it better than we think. 7-0 Oregon at the time. Tez Johnson out. Back up in. Punt return fumble for Oregon. That set up the Michigan offense. Donovan Edwards looking good, as did the offensive line. 10 carries, 52 yards. Khalil Mullings not so much. 8 carries, 16 yards. It was Max Bredesen on a number of running plays leading the way as a blocker for Donovan Edwards. And then Davis Warren across his body, threading the needle for the touchdown, 7-7 ball game. Dillon Gabriel and the Oregon offense. With all the downfield shots, I wouldn't necessarily think that this would be a stat to this degree, but Dillon Gabriel, number 2 in the nation in pass completions behind the line of scrimmage. We know that he is up near the top in terms of completion percentage, and he hit his first 8 attempts, although 22 of 34 overall. So Michigan certainly was tougher on defense after the first couple drives. Terrence Ferguson, one of the best passing options at the tight end position, back for Oregon after he missed 3 games. Couple catches, 34 yards. And speaking of tight end options, because of the limited options that Michigan has, their tight end, Colton Loveland, more important to them than Terrence Ferguson for Oregon. Colton Loveland got his first touch at the 10-minute mark of the second quarter. He finished with, and we called for this week as well, get Colston Loveland the football. 7 catches for 112 yards. And that Oregon secondary, very strong. We mentioned Muhammad, also Nico Reed, one of the best defensive backs in the Big Ten, the transfer from Colorado. Trayshawn Holden on a bomb burns his man, and Noah Whittington had a spin move for a touchdown, and we're out to a 21-7 game as Michigan had Oregon pinned at the 6-yard line, but it's the Oregon offense, so voila. 6 plays, 94 yards, and it's a touchdown, and it's 21-7. Let's call it the Colston Loveland drive. They got him the football, and again, this is the smart route for Michigan football. He's dependable. The wide receivers are not. And they get a field goal there at 21-10. So right before halftime, Trayshawn Holden, 6 catches, $149. He had a huge play. Evan Stewart made one of the best catches you will see this year in the back of the end zone, but it did not count. One-handed catch on a bomb. Again, it didn't count based on an illegal formation call, but only took a couple more plays, and Dylan Gabriel raced for 23 yards. The pocket was set up nicely. Saw a gap in the pocket. No defenders there. One defender in the middle was blocked by the offensive lineman, and Dylan Gabriel had an easy touchdown. Again, 23 yards, 28-10, Oregon at the break. Okay, this was Michigan's opportunity to get back in the ball game. It was asked of Dan Lanning at halftime what his team needed to do to correct its third quarter issues on offense. Listen to their scoring totals this year coming into this game. 55 in the first quarter, 100 points in the second quarter, 3 points in the third quarter, 40 points in the fourth quarter. Michigan did get back-to-back punts. They also, unfortunately, got an injury from Josiah Stewart, who left the game with 7 minutes left in the third quarter. So Michigan marches down the field, and again, they forced Oregon to punt 2 consecutive times. Unfortunately, they had a mishap on the second one. Davis Warren to Colston Loveland time and time again. Couple huge plays down near the goal line, and then he hit Peyton O'Leary across the back of the end zone as Davis Warren bought some time for himself and flushed left, found O'Leary for the touchdown. 28-17 ball game. And again, the Michigan defense got 2 consecutive stops. However, on the second one, unfortunately, you had Trey Pierce lined up over the center on a punt play directly over the center. Odd formation for Oregon. That's illegal. You cannot line up directly over the center on a punt formation, or if the receiving player is at least 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage. That was a key for Michigan. They lost time, and they lost field position. They lost the football, of course, and the opportunity to come back down only 11 at that point. Oregon keeps the football. They get a field goal to make it 31-17 at that point. All right, next possession. Even though they had that exchange that Michigan really got the stop, but they give up the field goal, they're still only down 2 scores, and Davis Warren back down the field. He's slinging it. He's feeling it. 12 of 21 on the day. They get it down to the 15-yard line after an Alex Orji 26-yard run in which they ran the sweep, beautifully blocked, tippy-toe down the sideline, showed his physical prowess as well as he bowled over some Oregon defenders, refused to go down. So Michigan's got it set up down 2 scores, 31-17. They're at the 15. They only let Davis Warren quarterback 1 play. So he throws an incomplete pass. The rest of it was Alex Orji. And then they try a trick play on 4th and 5. They don't get it. It was a botched play to begin with. They try to throw it back to the quarterback Orji. I would have loved to have seen Davis Warren be the leader of the offense through the rest of that drive. That was not to be, and that's really your ball game right there, as that drive took a lot of time, and then Oregon marched it down the field, took up a ton of time, actually scored a touchdown with, for you bettors out there, if you had the plus 14 or the plus 15, Oregon, 14-point lead. They kick in the door in the final few seconds on a touchdown. 38-17 final score. We failed to mention Jordan James, but he is an excellent back, tough back, hard-nosed, just tough to bring down. 23 carries, $117. Oregon at 9-0 takes on Maryland, the lifeless Terps, out to Autzen Stadium. That seems like a sacrificial burnt offering out there for the Ducks for that one. And it won't be the Ducks, it'll be the Terps, the Turtles. Michigan 5-4 goes to Indiana. And we know how well the Hoosiers are playing. Wow, that is suddenly a difficult spot on the schedule for everybody in the Big Ten as Indiana rolled over Michigan State today. Your thoughts about Oregon? 9-0, number 1 in the country. Michigan falls to 5-4. They've got a date against Indiana. Could be a 5-5 football team, although, again, they acquitted themselves today, but not nearly enough. Your thoughts down below. Please like and subscribe right here at the Voice of College Football.